Hello, I'm just going to make a wee video on Google Jamboard. What Jamboard basically is a whiteboard you can use over Google Meet. You can just present information on it, or you can use it sort of collaboratively and interactively with your class as well. Here it is on the G Suite homepage, Jamboard. Now, we'll look at the basic way to use it, and that's within a Google Meet. So here I've opened up a Google Meet with two of my accounts so we can see what happens. So if you are sort of presenting to your class, you click the three little dots down here for your options, and here there's one that says whiteboard, open a jam. So we click that and we get this option come up. We can either start a new whiteboard or we can open one we've prepared beforehand. I'll go over how you prepare one beforehand in a second, but let's just look at starting a new one here. So here we'll just click start a new whiteboard, and then you get this little pop-up. So the more people who are in the call, all their names will appear here, and you can share it with them. And if you do that, you just click send, and a little link will pop up in the chat. They can all click that, and they can all open up the whiteboard as well and draw on it and write on it with you. If you don't want to share it with them, if you just want to present the whiteboard so they can just see what you're doing, you've got two options. You can change this edit here to view, so then they can click the whiteboard link that pops up and they can view what's been done, but they can't edit it themselves. Or what I normally do is I click down here, I click don't give access, and then when it opens up the whiteboard, I just present that whiteboard to the class. Either of these is fine, but we'll look at doing it with the so they can edit it as well. So we'll change this to edit. We click send. That's okay. And you'll see here a little whiteboard has popped up for me. This is what the Jamboard is. I'll just for a second show you what happens in the chat. So now in the chat of that, it's come up saying I shared a jam file with a meeting, and here's the link. Now anyone else in the meeting can click on that link and it will open up that same whiteboard that I've just seen, and everything I do on the whiteboard they'll see on theirs as I do it. Might be a little bit of lag depending on your internet connection. So this is what it looks like when you open it up, your Jamboard. I'll just full screen it. Basically, you open up a new one, you just get a blank white whiteboard to work with, and down on the left hand side you've got a bunch of tools and a couple of little options up here. So your first tool is just your pen. It's just like a whiteboard pen. When you click it, along the top here you've got different types of pen you can use, and here you've got different colors. So just got black, and then we've got a bunch of different colors. We can also change the type of pen. Our next one along is marker, which is basically just a thicker pen. One that's really useful is this one here, highlighter, and you can use that to underline something someone's written or highlight part of an image you've put in or something like that. Next tool down is just erase. You can use that to rub out anything you've done. If you want to clear the whole page at once, you can click this up here where it says clear frame, and that will clear everything at once. Some of these other tools we've got sticky notes. This just opens up a sticky note that again you can change the color of. You can just type something on it, press save, and that sticky note has then appeared and can be dragged about the screen. It can only be dragged about if you're on this option here, if you've clicked the little select tool. If you click something like the pen, what will actually happen instead is you draw over it, which is what you probably don't want. Next one down, which I found really useful, is the option to add an image. So if you click this, it brings you up to the add image thing. There's a couple of options again. If you click Google Drive, it will take you to your Google Drive. If you've got images saved there you want to pop in, you can do that. If you click Google Images here, it will let you just search Google Images. So you could search dinosaur, bring up an image of a dinosaur and pop that in. Or if you've got a past paper question or something you want to look at, you go to upload here, click browse, and it will open up your computer files and you can find the image. Let's look at this one and that 5 maths one for you so you can all have some fun. And it pops this onto the screen. So now everyone who I've shared this link with and is on the Meet with me can see this question. And then we can chat about it, we can get ideas about how we'd go about the question, and then I can start doing it. I can start looking at what steps I would need to do and drawing out what was required to work out the answer to the question, getting input from them the whole time because this is on Google Meet, so I could be asking them for what steps to do next or things like that. Okay, just going to delete that and delete this image. You can't select and delete lines and things you've drawn, so if you want to delete those, your best bet is the erase tool. There is also an undo button up here. Then also we can draw other shapes. Okay, we can draw circles, squares, we can draw arrows if we want to point to something in an image. Lots of options there. And also what's very useful, depending on the work you're using it for, is the text box option. So we click that and we can just start typing. Then we can change the color of the text in there up here. We can change whether it's centered, etc. We can change the size of it. We can put it to display, which is massive, or caption, which is small. So there's a lot of options there with things that you can do in a Jamboard that you can share with everyone so they can see what you're doing. You'll also have noticed up here we've got some little arrows. We can add extra pages to our Jamboard. If we don't want to clear something and we want to leave that question up because we want it saved or something, we can just click this little arrow and that brings up a new page for us to write on. And anything we do on this page, if we go back to the blank one and then to that, that's still there and it's saved. Everything. This option, the ability to use these extra pages, is really useful if you're preparing your Jamboard in advance, which is what I'm just going to look at now. So I'm just going to close this down and then I'm going to look at making a new one. So if you go into your G Suite homepage and click Jamboard, it opens up all the Jamboards you've done before. And so if you want to go back and look at something, you can do that. You can see all the ones I've used here for maths or physics, going through questions with folk. And then you click this little orange plus down here and that makes a new one. You click that and it opens up a new Jamboard that you can prepare in advance. And so I'm just going to pop over to one I've made before. Hold on, a blue Peter Wise. Here's one I did earlier. So here's another Jamboard I've opened up in advance to start working on in preparation before doing a meet. So this is stealing a bit of inspiration from Kate, who I know has done something similar with her geography class. I'm coming up to a part with my S1 Science on habitats, and I want to do something collaboratively with them. So I've decided when I have a meet with them, this is after they've done a bit of research on their own, I'm going to get them to share that information with each other. And so what I'm going to do is make each page of this Jamboard be about a different habitat. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make a text box here. I'm going to change the color of it, and I'm just going to type in tundra up here. And so when I share this with them in the meet, I'm going to split them into groups, and I'm going to say, you two, you go to the page that says tundra, and so on. And then they'll see this page, and they can add their own information to it. They can add text boxes, they can add images they found, because they have all these same tools that I do. They can scribble on it, whatever they want, they can add all this information. And because this is one I've made in advance, I've done a page here that says tundra, and I've already prepared some. I've done one here for desert, one for rainforest, one for savanna, and one for Mediterranean. So each of them will come in, put their own information on each of those pages, and then I'll be able to go through these, show it to everyone, and we can look back. And the group who've done Mediterranean, well, they can watch while we go through, and the Savannah group talks about what they've put on theirs. And then one last little bit, which is blatantly stolen from Kate, so again, thank you for that, is that option up here that says set background. That allows me to put an image as the whole background of a slide. That can be drawn over, have text boxes on it, labeled, etc. But anyone watching stuff, they can't do anything to that background. It'll just be there. So for this habitat one, I want to put an image of the world. You can see here I've already Googled world map, and so I'll pick here just an image off of Google, double click it, and that will change the background of the Jamboard to this image of the world. So when we've talked about all these different habitats and everyone has shared information, I can then get them to colour in on here where in the world they'd find those habitats. We can have a talk about what colour the habitats will be. So we might say, okay, for green, we'll do that as a rainforest, and they'll start colouring in bits of Brazil, green, to show that's where rainforest is. I could even get them to make a key. I could get them to type a little text box, make sure it's green, and say rainforest. Oop, change that so it's normal. So then we know, okay, bits that are green are rainforest. I could get them to do another text box that was yellow, so then we knew bits that they coloured in yellow, they were desert. And that leads us on to more discussions about this. There's lots of other uses for this as well. In biology or something, you could have a picture of a cell, and you could ask them all to label a part of the cell. You could get a picture of an equipment or something from tech, get them to label bits of the equipment. You could show them an image from the tech room with things wrong or safety problems, get them to point out and label safety issues, all collaboratively and interactively on this Jamboard. So now I've prepared this one in advance, I'm just going to rub off this stuff here and get rid of the key and stuff because I want them to do that themselves. Now I've prepared this in advance. It will have saved as I go, as all your Google stuff does. So if I close that, we can still see here on my Jamboard page that this habitat one is there and it is saved. So if I go back into the Google Meet, and again I click my little dots and I say whiteboard, open a jam. This time, instead of clicking start a new whiteboard, I'm going to click choose from drive. And then this opens up all the Jamboards that are on my Google Drive. So I can pick one that I've already pre-made in advance. So I'll click this one called Habitats. And again, this time I want them to be able to edit it. So I'll keep this and I'll make sure it says edit. Then I'll press send. This is only popping up because the other account I'm signed in with is not a Highland one. So you shouldn't get this issue unless they're coming into a meet on a personal email address. But either way, just press OK. And you'll see it starts to load and it pops up here. I see it immediately pop up because I shared it. They'll only see it pop up if they click on this link that appeared in the chat. And so once they click on that, it'll open it up in a new tab for them and it will show this whiteboard. So this is what they see. And then if I open the one I've opened up, you'll be able to see on it that if I start to type on here, it should pop up straight away. On the other one there, it says that, okay, I've typed hello. If I start to draw on here, it will pop up on that one as I draw. Not immediately, okay, not in perfect time. There's a little bit of a delay, but nothing that stops you doing anything useful with it. Right, hopefully that was clear enough about how to use Jamboard. If not, send me an email or we can chat about it or Google Meet, anything else. So thanks.